Candidate for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Dr. Mehmet Oz.
Oz is maybe not the candidate they wanted, but it's the candidate they have, and the establishment is rallying behind him. For instance, he's endorsed by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the State Chamber of Commerce. He's getting endorsements from police unions, and he didn't have any political roots in Pennsylvania, and so that has been a bit of a stumbling block. He's had to really introduce himself to the establishment. Oz has tried to shift moderate in the general cycle of this election. He's tried to downplay his stance on abortion. He's tried to downplay the Trump connections. And to some extent, there is a disconnect between him and the Trump base. What we've seen is, the establishment rallying around him, even though he wasn't their guy, and Republicans starting to come home to him. So strategists on both sides believe that is one reason why the polls have tightened in the last few weeks is people beginning to understand that he's the nominee and starting to get comfortable with him. But when you see him at, say, the MAGA crowd, so at the Trump rally in early September, he was still sending a message of, hey, look at my website, get to know me, see what I've been saying around the state. It wasn't a lot of rah type stuff that you might have heard from a MAGA candidate who's, in touch with the base. I've been saying all along that was really the Republicans' race to lose, since it was a Republican year and the party of the president always loses seats in Congress during the midterms. But it sort of feels like it's Fetterman's race to lose at this point. Everything I hear from Republican strategists who are managing races for Congress and the state legislature is that people like Oz and the Republican nominee for governor are running behind everyone across the board. Maybe it's early enough that Oz can make up that gap, but that gap has been there for months now. And to the extent that polls have tightened a little bit as Republican voters maybe have come home to Oz, it does feel like Fetterman's lead has been durable in the polls.